Okay, Southwest Flight Crews, I want to welcome you to 25 right here in Las Vegas in the 737-800 series aircraft. We're going to go ahead and sit on the cockpit here, and we're going to show you a takeoff on 25 right using the new Southwest procedure, and that's the D-rate and assumed temperatures. Let's just go ahead and to our FMC here, and I'll show you what we've got on the aircraft right now, and then we'll talk about the D rates. Zero fuel weight is 120.5, so we're actually really light zero fuel weight. This flight is actually planned to go to Phoenix, so kind of a light load. Reserves are 5, cost index is 20. We really don't need to know all this, it's not really pertinent. This is very pertinent. This is our gross weight, 132.6. And that's it. Now let's go to the N1 limit page. So once you're set here, the procedure with this is once you're set, you're going to go to the N1 limit. Now this is where all the magic really happens. There's a select and an OAT, a hyphen and a slash OAT. Now this is called assumed temperatures. When we plug something into the scratch pad here and we enter it into this, basically it's called an assumed temperature. We're not actually derating the engine at all. We're just tricking it to thinking it's actually hotter outside where the air is less dense. So what happens is the fan speed will rotate at a slower speed, and obviously that'll help the engine wear in the long run. Now some airlines elect to do both assumed temperatures and an actual D-rate. Now if you can see, our aircraft here is at 26 Ks, or 26,000 pounds of thrust per side. And look at our N1 limit, we're 100.7. That's our full N1 limit. Now you can D-rate to 24K or double D-rate down to 22K. That's called a double D-rate. We're not going to double D-rate, we're just going to go down to 24K. Now, we have to use some caution here. When you actually D-rate an engine, to this, it's 24,000 pounds. It's actually a limitation. So we're actually limiting the engine thrust down to 24,000. That's it. It's a flat limit. When they're at 26,000 and we do an assumed temperature, if we need the thrust, we have 26,000 pounds of thrust. We can just bring it all the way up and it'll give us that. 24 Ks do not. When you D-rate a fixed D-rate, that's right here, that is a limitation. Okay, so you're only going to get 24,000 pounds. By all means, you can shove the throttles full forward, but everything, all the computer calculations, it's all 24,000 pounds instead of 26. That is the difference with D-rating. Now, another word of caution, I recommend you using TopCat. TopCat is a performance calculation that will actually give you the numbers that you need to use. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the TopCat information now, and we're going to go over it. And as you can see, we are at Las Vegas 25 right, and the wind speed is 130 at 5 knots, so we have a little tailwind. Temperature is plus 27, altimeter is 3002. The runway conditions are dry, and we're using NOAA for the weather source. Now the takeoff weight's 132.7 or 132,700 pounds. We're going to recommend flaps 1, and Southwest has a recommendation flaps 1, D-rate all the time. So flaps 1 here, you're going to go thrust configuration TO1. Okay, you have optimum, takeoff 1, and double D-rate. Takeoff 2. So I'm going to go takeoff 1, air conditioning will be on, anti-ice will be off. I'll scroll over to the right side and hit compute, and it'll give us, I believe, 4 options. And it does. If you can see, if you took on a look on the top line, it's 35 degrees, 36, 37, 38 all the way down. Now, Vegas is interesting. There's a limit, and the limit is it's an obstruction. We have mountains on the other side of the runway, so they limit us to weight, because if we have an engine out, the airplane can't climb, and there we go. it's not going to be a pretty day. So as a crew, you can pick one of these four, but you need, again, you need to be a little careful on your margins. You know, looking at this margin, actually there's a heck of a lot more, but you know, there's more than 4 lines. If you scroll, it's actually a scroll. If you scroll all the way up, you can go 30 all the way down to 38. So there's 8 degrees to play with. And I'm just going to use the last 4, 35, 36, 37, 38. We can go up to 38 degrees, but let's pick 36 for today, just because I want to be just a little conservative. The limit weight is 135.6, so we're well under that. And take a look at your V speeds. 41, 41, 146 with a margin of 6,180 feet, which the N1 limit is going to be 94.8. So write those numbers down or know that. Just have it on the screen or something. Now we'll go back into the airplane and I'll show you what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is we're going to set our 36 degrees Celsius. So on the scratch badge, we're going to type in 36 and then we're going to call it on one left. And see what that does is it reduces 98.9. Okay, but we can go down to 94. So now we're going to go ahead and do right down to 24 Ks. And we're going to have to redo the engines, redo the assumed temperature. Now it says 94.6. We're reduced, and that's within limits. We're good there. This says 94.8, but we're okay because we have 94.7 and 5. So we're in between there. And take a look at, and it's still giving us a climb 1 gradient. Usually, or a climb gradient. Usually they'll go climb 1, climb 2, which in this case it means that the engines are going to go accelerate a little bit on a climb out. But sometimes this will go in automatic. Okay, so then click the takeoff page, and you're going to go flaps 1, and you'll see what happens. And then just plug in your CG right there, 20.5, and then this says 39, 40, and 45. So we're going to actually we're going to keep. It doesn't really matter. I mean, they're so close. Let's just keep 39. But I'm going to use TopCat information. So we're going to go 141 in VR, and our V2 speed is going to be 146. And that's it. So that is all we do. If you wanted to plug all that stuff in, you could. Just remember that you'd have to redo your these speeds again. So you use the numbers from TopCat in this case, or your OPC, or onboard performance computer. You see a reduction at 94.6, but again, if you look on the lower limit of TopCat, it's 94.5.7, so we're in between both of those. We're good to go, as long as it's not lower than what TopCat says. So if TopCat said, let's see, 94 point, you can't exceed 94 point, let's say our last one was 94.7, we definitely don't want to do it, because this, right now it's reducing to 94.6. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you guys. So that's what I'm saying. So if it's 94.6 is our last TopCat figure that we can fly, we're right on the verge here, right on the cusp of doing this. Okay, great, and that is it. Let's go ahead and actually take this airplane out of here. And it's starting to rain in Vegas. That's interesting. It never usually rains here. And we'll go ahead and flaps are set 1. As you can see, I've already set flaps down to 1. I'm going to take park brake off right now. And it definitely is different. And we're going to set our V2 speed real quick to 146. Verify 146, 7,000. Flight director's arm are on. We'll go ahead and arm the auto throttle. And I'll take the HGS in. Let's see if I can get a good. Great. Okay, here we go. We're just going to bring up the throttles to 40. And brakes off. Brakes off, speed brake is down to 10, flaps 1, we're ready to go. So it's going to bring the throttles smoothly up to 40. Let's see if I can reset this. There we go. Sometimes that happens. We got a little bit of crosswind. We're stabilized right now. We're going to go Toga. So takeoff going around right now. Let me get the airplane on center line. Would be excellent. Remember where the wind's coming from. They're pushing us a little bit. There's 80 knots. And we'll do a check. 80 knots cross check. We're good. There's 100. And we're looking again with V1, approaching V1. Let's take some cross correction out here. We go. So now we're just going to rotate the nose nice and slow. I don't want to go too fast. That was actually a little too aggressive on the rotation. I was going to climb gear up. Pitch it all the way up to your... I don't want to go too far. I'm going to keep my nose down about 15 degrees right about now. And then we're going to go flaps up. We're going to go speed. 210. And that is it. That is it. That's a derated takeoff and climb. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and until next time, we'll see you later.